It's our first morning in Colorado. Yesterday we hiked in here. The creek that we were intending on getting water from and setting up camp nearby was completely bone dry, so we did a scouting mission, ended up finding some water. So we're camped kind of close to that, but still trying to stay far enough away from where we anticipate a lot of the activity being. We saw a few deer last night. About 2 a.m. we could hear an elk bugling overnight, and then this morning so far I've heard a couple different bugles. Of course, this year I have a mule deer tag, but the other guys in the group are hunting for elk with muzzleloaders. This morning I came into this spot that looked like a really great pinch point, trying to cut off the deer on their way back up from feeding overnight, and I busted out, must have been 3 or 4 of them when I walked in here, and I sat down anyway, and then I ended up having one more doe come in, and she probably got within 30 yards, so I got some footage of her. But I don't know, the weather isn't too bad. It rained a little bit last night, but it's supposed to be a chance of rain almost every day. But we got almost a week now to get it done. Alright, so I know I saw at least 6 different deer this morning, all does and fawns, and then those same 6 I think came back a few times, so I ended up seeing, a total of 8 or 9, but I'm pretty sure it was only 6 total. At noon I went down to make a loop to go back to the campsite, ended up bumping into Travis on the way, and he didn't see any elk this morning, neither did Matt, but they split ways. He went a lot further east and ended up kicking up a real nice 4x4 mule deer, and just said he saw a ton of elk sign, ton of mule deer sign. So he says we couldn't get a hold of Matt. What the plan is tonight is I'm going to go back to the same spot that I was sitting at this morning. Then we'll reconvene at camp tonight, and we'll discuss kind of what the plan will be tomorrow. Hey. Hey. I'm just sitting here, the rain's passed, waiting for it to get dark, not expecting any animal movement for maybe another hour or 2. So I just went down 70, 80 yards, and there's a buck standing there at 15 yards. He didn't spook, but I know he saw me, and I was getting pretty tired of sitting there, so I just started getting ready. I figure there's no way I'm going to shoot this deer, so I might as well just spook him out, get back to where I was set up. And he actually didn't really spook. Even when I started coming back to my stuff, he just kind of would bolt around for a little bit, stop. I'm just standing wide out in the open. He is wide out in the open, 20, 30 yards. This deer's just watching me, not really sure what to make of me. I'm like, well, I might as well just see if I can get to my bow. So I walked back that whole 70, 80 yards. My camera was in my backpack. Because of the rain, I took it out of my backpack. The deer's standing there at 30 yards while I'm doing this. I put the camera on the tripod, turn it on, get it on the deer, grabbed my bow, draw back, ranged him at 23 yards, and I had him at broadside. I could have shot him, but I just couldn't do it, you know. Just didn't feel right, you know. Like, it shouldn't be that easy. So he walked, and he finally ended up, you know, spooking a little bit more at the end. So well, overall, yesterday was a pretty productive first day, including that buck that I saw at last light. That made 8 deer that I saw on the day. And then Matt ended up seeing a cow out that was too far away. He has a cow tag. He called in a spike bull, saw another spike bull later in the day, and right at last light he saw what he said was the biggest mule deer he's ever seen. He said his head somewhere around 20 points, big non-typical. Travis, I think, just saw a couple deer, but we're going to sit in the morning, and then it's supposed to rain this afternoon, so that might throw a curveball to some of our plans for hunting the afternoon. Me. I have no idea if I got that shot on film or not. I was literally coming through all this deadfall, just getting some B-roll footage of me crawling through the limbs and whatnot. I set my camera up. I wasn't going to film a scene where I was just walking underneath this log. I turned to the left. There's a buck 20 yards from me broadside. I obviously had the bow in the hand, so I got the arrow there, drew back, tried grunting at him to stop. He wouldn't stop. Then he came around and crawled underneath me. I'm thinking, well, there's a chance he's even on the camera right now, because I knew that's where the camera was pointed. Kept grunting at him to stop. He finally stopped. Had a wide open lane. Just relaxed. Released the arrow. Looked like it hit him just perfect. He went off a little ways, probably 40, 60 yards, slowed down. I'm pretty sure I heard him go down. Whew. Wow. Man, I'm excited. This is my first ever mule deer. First time I've ever really hunted for him. The last couple times we've been in Colorado, we've been chasing elk. You can see this guy's still got some velvet on his antlers. Must not have shot too long ago. He's a 5x4, not a super old buck, but for the experience, man, I couldn't be happier right now. But now the real work starts. I gotta get him quartered and back to the campsite. I gotta get him in game bags. It's supposed to get really warm this afternoon, like 75 degrees. So time is definitely of the essence. And then once I get him to camp, I'll I'll get them back down to the truck, and then I'll come back up here and probably help the other guys try and get an elk. Might do some two-person calling setups. I'll bring the camera along. Should be a good time. Easy. Almost back to the trailhead, probably another 300-400 yards or so. Wasn't quite as bad as I thought it was going to be, although I got a thunderstorm chasing me out to the truck. I didn't bring my rain gear, but my thought is I'll go into town, get some ice or dry ice, whatever's available, put it in the cooler, and then if it's stormy, I'll just wait in the truck for a while, charge my batteries, and if not, I'll just head right back up the mountain. That was the first time I've ever tried the gutless method, and I thought it worked all right. Ended up getting all 4 quarters, back straps, tenderloins, rib meat, flank meat, neck meat, heart, pretty much everything I would have gotten off of the deer if I would have hung it up in my garage. So I've been pretty happy. Well, we just broke camp. It rained most of last night, which meant that this morning it would have been pretty dangerous to climb through all the deadfall getting to our hunting spots. So we just decided to sleep in. We're going to move our camp a little bit closer to the creek, a little bit closer to where we've been seeing quite a bit of sign. But hopefully, with any luck, tonight will be the night. Well, the elk have not been cooperating for the most part this week. I think part of the reason is that now the areas that we've been covering and hunting over the past couple of days have basically been covering an area of maybe 1,000 acres or so. And now that we've gotten our scent over most of that area, anything that wasn't moving through, like some of the elk that we would see in the morning or in the evenings earlier in the week, have now for the most part gone nocturnal in their movements. And so we've been focusing more up high, running the ridge lines, trying to call, run and gun, and just haven't had any luck yet. So the trip's coming up to an end here. So for the last couple sits, what the guys are doing is basically just going out and trying to hit up some completely fresh land, stuff that we haven't hit at all, and see if we can't get lucky and get some daytime movement. It is Friday morning, 6:56. I decided to sleep in this morning, but the guys went out to hunt. Last night they got on a couple elk. Had one moving through the woods that they could see but couldn't quite get a shot at. But this morning, one of them Matt is sitting out right behind me, probably a quarter mile. Travis is way uphill a little bit more, but I just heard a shot. Came from right behind me. It had to be Matt. So I'm going to get all my stuff ready, bring the frame pack over there, and see what happened. Well, I just got the download from Travis. Turns out it wasn't Matt that shot this morning, it was actually Travis. He had a bull come up, it looks like about 100 yards would be my guess. Came up over the edge of the ridge, and he had basically just enough time to make sure it was legal before leaning up against a tree and taking a shot before it bolted. But Matt and Travis have been essentially looking for blood since I got here, which has been at least a half an hour, and they haven't found a drop. He said he thought his first gut reaction when the smoke went off was that the elk dropped, but we're going to keep looking for a while and see if we can find anything. Well, we continued searching for about an hour or so, no luck, no blood at all, so this was our last morning hunting, so we packed up camp and now we're back on our way out. Overall, success with deer mixed with more experience on the elk side of things. It makes us more confident that we'll be able to notch some tags the next time we go after elk. Our calling will be another year more refined, and we'll have twice as much boots on the ground knowledge of the area going in as we did this year.